Mike Ryan. In our ongoing video series on our blog, we've seen a number of the famous turquoise mines. We've also had a couple of videos of the not so famous turquoise mines. But I thought today we'd take a look at a turquoise mine that's not famous, not really even not so famous, but it has a great story. And that's Pixie. Now, the first thing we want to talk about is where the Pixie is located. Because as I mentioned in our video on turquoise maps, in every one of the maps that we looked at, the Pixie is misidentified as far as location. Now, we know that a lot of mines are mislocated on purpose, just so people don't know where they really are, because the mine owners are concerned that if you know where it is, you'll go and steal turquoise. But in this case, I think it's just because this has been such an unknown mine, so many stories told about it, most of them not true, and people just don't know. But today we'll learn where it is located. We start off with two of the oldest mines in Nevada. That's the White Horse, located in 1907, and the Fox, located in 1912. Now, to really get a full story of this area and the Fox and the White Horse and the Pixie, you'll really need to get a copy of Turquoise in America Part 2, which you can do here on the website. But it has been speculated that since 1915, when the Fox turquoise went into production, there has been more turquoise mined from the Fox than from all the other turquoise mines in Nevada combined. And I've run the numbers on that, and it's possible. There's been a lot of turquoise from Fox because it's just been a workhorse, if you will, for jewelers. It's a good mid-grade, doesn't hit the really highest grades very often, but it's been affordable and it's been readily available over a long period of time. So we do see it in a lot of Indian jewelry. The White Horse and the Fox right next to each other. The Pixie, in contrast, has never been located as a turquoise mine. It was always located as a gold mine. Now we have to go back and look at a little bit of the history of Cortez, Nevada, which the locals pronounce Cortez. And silver was found there in 1867. And what's interesting about that is one of the original partners in that first mine there at Cortez, silver mine, was the father of William Randolph Hearst. So that was sort of the origin of his fortune. He sold out to his partner, and his partner invested a lot of money, and it was a real going concern because in the 1890s, there was a large leaching plant there and a lot of silver mined there, I guess. But by the 1930s, it had played out and Cortez was pretty much a gold mine. By the 1960s, 70s, the Cortez gold mining operation was getting started and has really developed over the last 40 years or so. And at the southern end of Crescent Valley, you see the very large gold operations. And today, the Pixie claims, where these Pixie turquoise claims, they're now buried under a lot of the overburden that came from the gold mine. We know that, or we speculate, let's say, that Dal Ward was leasing the Pixie from the gold mine in the 70s, and he had either subleased or was allowing Bozo Quinn to mine there. Now, Bozo Quinn is quite an interesting character. I want to read a little bit about his background. His name is Willie Morgan Bozo Quinn. He was born in 1929, so I'm pretty sure he got the nickname before Bozo the Clown came around. He was born near Grants, New Mexico. So he's a New Mexico fellow. In his youth, he was a rodeo cowboy. In 1949, he married, and we know he had at least 3 daughters. And by the 70s, he was real active in the turquoise trade. I want to read you a story about Bozo Quinn here that kind of gives you an idea of what I think was quite a character. This is from Kenneth Farrell. The late Bozo Quinn was sitting in a bar one evening in Tucson, and a bit on the tipsy side, when he heard of some gentlemen from the Mideast that were hitting Gallup and Flagstaff with some killer prices on so-so Persian turquoise. If I remember right, it was about 30 cents per carat. As the night and the drinks laid on, Mr. Quinn headed for Flagstaff with close to 100 pounds of great material from Globe, which he was normally selling for 25 to 35 cents for the best natural, which in those days, natural meant it wasn't dyed howlite or stabilized. Waxed and wiped with India ink was a different story. He also had some of the prettiest green material I've ever seen. He said it was sadie green turquoise and was selling everything at 20 cents a carat. Still feeling no severe pain. Long story short, the 20 cent a carat sadie green turquoise turned out to be a very rare material called faustite. I found this out when it cost me a perfect score at the California State Fair in 1980. 5 points for mislabeling because he labeled it as turquoise, which was really an honest mistake because we now know that faustite, of course, is in the turquoise family of hydrous aluminum phosphates. So I don't think anybody be too upset about that now, but back then faustite was really a new thing. Sadie turquoise is really fascinating because we have the story in Turquoise America Part 2, and the only sample I've seen, and there's a photo in the book, is from Brandon Swan, and he has a photo of sadie turquoise. And I've tried to find a location, and all I found were other mineral locations in the Battle Mountain area. So again, speculating, Bozo Quinn had all this sadie turquoise. He was leasing Pixie from Dow Ward, and we know he was getting a lot of Pixie turquoise because Wayne Nelson was buying it from him in Searchlight, where Bozo had his rock shop right next to the casino. So, what a story we have about Pixie turquoise. And as we see in the photos, we see a beautiful set of necklaces, nugget necklaces. You see I'm wearing one today. And it shows a variety of Pixie as it goes from blue to a green, which is what I'm wearing. And then there's sort of a indiscriminate, could be variscite, could be, who knows? It's just a non-colored chalcosiderite. Hasn't been tested. But then we see a beautiful green Pixie that looks a lot like faustite, and then we can compare how that looks to the photo we see of sadie green. So anyway, one of those, not famous, maybe even not so famous, but boy, what a story about Pixie.